Well, it's Trial Tuesday with a good friend, attorney David Aylor, keeping us up to date on our legal knowledge. Today's topic is car accidents and what to do if neither driver is found at fault. How can that be? It seems like somebody's got to be at fault for an accident.
Well, you think probably someone is at fault. Unfortunately, sometimes you have accidents where the officer shows up and they're looking at the situation and they can't determine who's at fault. That may be because there's no witnesses, or maybe the witnesses aren't initially interviewed.
Sure.
And then basically what happens from there is you look at the scenario and you say, hey, I think this other person was at fault. You know, I've been injured, and my car's damaged,
Sure.
and then you don't really know where to go from there. But the insurance company is willing to look at it from a different scenario if you're able to bring some more information to the table. And that's where a lot of times attorneys can actually come in and help. Looking at it from bringing in an accident reconstructionist, looking at where the accident happened, how it happened, and also going beyond maybe the scope that the officer was able to do, looking at where there's other witnesses or maybe traffic cams. So many areas we know now have cameras around the area. That officer is going to be very busy that day. He or she's not going to be able to sit there and scope the entire section of that traffic scenario.
Sure.
And, you know, they're going to look, see where they are, see who's there, and then they're going to be, this isn't a full investigation.
Right.
But if you've been injured or someone in your car has been injured, and you want to say, hey, look, this person pulled out in front of me, it may not be able to be shown directly in that situation. There's going to be investigation that could actually prove that.
Information sometimes same as documentation.
Right, exactly. And maybe that documentation isn't something that's going to initially be shown right there at the scene, but then when you kind of backtrack it and looking at that accident reconstruction. So what we encourage a lot of people is, just because it says no fault, or both parties are at fault, they can't determine who's at fault, whatever it may be. If you feel like that that you are not at fault and the other person was, and you've been seriously injured or someone else has been seriously injured in your car, it's worth sitting down with an attorney, looking at it and saying, hey, here's what happened. I think we can show how that happened. I don't know how. Then they're going to be able to kind of walk you down that trail and at least investigate it for you.
Can I say that one of the best things to do is that if you're in an accident and you're not hurt, it's obvious that you're not hurt.
Right.
And let's just say you're in an area that is safe to get out of your car. Would it be best to interview as many people and take as many pictures as you can on your iPhone, your cell phone, to get as much information as possible before all that is said and done and it's moved out of the way?
Absolutely. The pictures, of course, mean so much, but also, just like you said, the contact information. Even if you don't have time to sit there and interview all of them, at least get the people's name, the number. Because a lot of times people have places to go. Obviously, they're not going to want to sit there for 45 minutes, an hour. At least get this person's name, get their number, and then have you or someone that's working for you be able to follow up with them and then get their take on what happened. And then when you provide that information to your insurance company, you provide that information to your attorney and their investigators, they're going to be able to go back. And just because that officer found that either you were at fault or that there was no fault or they couldn't determine it, doesn't mean that ultimately in the end you won't be able to recover against the other driver's insurance company.
That 45 minutes that somebody is in a hurry wanting to get somewhere to do something else may be one of the best 45 minutes of investment that they ever make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that 45 minutes may be the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills for you that you can recover against that other driver.
Tremendous amount, tremendous amount. How can we get a hold of you, David?
Easiest way is my downtown office is 577-5530. Just like you guys on Low Country Live, we're all over the internet and everything else as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Got more Low Country Live coming up in just a moment, right after the break.